back to the food for thought, week 49. All right, now if you can, think of an example from your life or from the life of someone you know when a gift was given that fulfilled a specific need unknown to the giver. Ask God to help you be sensitive to give as He leads and meet specific needs. I can definitely think of one. I may have already told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again just for you, for those of you who didn't hear it or didn't watch that video. I was in high school and I was a cheerleader, and we were going to get new like sweatsuits or whatever since it was getting cold, and I didn't work at the time. I didn't work throughout the school year, so I didn't have, much money, and I didn't like to ask my parents for money for cheerleading, even though it was, something that I've been doing for a while. I still didn't like to ask my parents, for money. So I think this was around the Christmas season, holiday season, so I did have a little bit of money. I had $20, and I was at church. I think it was like a Wednesday night, and I was at church, and like I said, I had $20 in my pocket, and I was just trying to figure out, like, oh, should I ask my dad for the money? I know he's gonna be, oh, I don't feel like, he wasn't gonna say I don't feel like giving it to you, but he just would have groaned and probably moaned about it, and I just didn't feel right. So I was just like, oh, whatever. So I knew that I needed $70 for our sweatsuits, and I only had 20, and so I just, said whatever, and figure out how to get it right. So I was at church, and after church, you talk and you fellowship with different people, and I was talking to my pastor, Dr. Ricky Temple, at Overcoming by Faith, and I was talking to him. We were just talking about school and life and things like that, and I was just really I like to get in his head about things, and so we were just talking, and he goes in his pocket, and he pulls out a bill, and all I see is a 5, right? And so I'm like, okay. He pulls out this money and he hands it to me, and I'm thinking, oh, thank you so much. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate it. I didn't really look at it, didn't, because I just was so humbled and so like, oh my gosh, that he gave that to me, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, almost like I didn't deserve it. I felt like I didn't deserve it. What did I do for you to give something like that to me? $5. I was thinking, man, I can get me an annihilator. What I call an annihilator was I don't know if it's even a number 2 at McDonald's anymore, but it was the 2 cheeseburgers that you could get with fries. So I call that an annihilator. Eat one now, eat the other one later. Anyway, so I was like, oh, I could get an annihilator at McDonald's with this. Cool. And then later on, when I got home, I pulled out the money in my pocket or whatever, and I realized that it was a $50 bill. Exactly. 50 plus 20 is 70. And I was just like, wow. And I don't believe that he knew that I needed $50 to add to my 20 to pay for my cheerleading sweatsuit. He knew that I was a cheerleader and all of that, but I didn't tell anybody because, I was just like, how am I going to say this, that I need some money? So that was a specific time when I needed a specific amount of money, and I do not believe that he knew I needed $50 to add to my $20 to come up with the $70 for my sweatsuit. So I just think that that was one of the first times I believe that God showed me just how his heart is geared towards blessing us, specific blessings, how he's geared toward meeting our needs through other people, and how we can meet a need for someone else just by giving, not even knowing that, wow, this $100 or this money that I'm giving you, or this whatever it is that I'm giving you is actually something that is meeting a need for you at that moment. So, God just uses us to bless one another, and it's an honor to be able to do that, a privilege. So, like it says, ask God to help you be sensitive as he leads you to meet other people's needs. Listen to his voice. When you hear someone talking about, oh, I need something or whatever, ask God, or even just calm yourself, get quiet, and see what the Spirit says to you about giving, about that person's situation, what you may be able to do to help them, because you never know. If you're like drowning it out, you may have missed an opportunity to be a blessing. So, get quiet and let God speak to you, and let him guide you and direct you into helping someone else and meeting a need. And you just don't know that if you've never done that before, given, it is a great feeling, and not just a great feeling because, oh, I felt good to help someone, but you feel good because you know that God is trusting you more and more. God is looking at you. God is searching the earth for you, to see who's actually paying attention and who is really trying to please him. So I think that's an awesome thing, that we can be there for one another in so many specific ways that are unbeknownst to us, that just lets me know how good God is, how much of a provider he is, because he knows every single one of our needs. So wow, that was a blessing to me. So hopefully you are blessing others and that others are blessing you too, because we have to pay it forward. We have to look out for one another. So anyway, I hope that blessed you. Have a great week. Talk to you later.